Hello, everyone. This is John Hill. I've been in the software space for about 28 years now, in management for over 2 decades, VP roles, director roles, a ton of hiring, a ton of leading teams, over 100 hires on the recruiting and the sales space for me personally, and obviously leading those teams. But also when I worked in the software recruiting space, I helped my customers hire over 1,000 employees. The one thing I can tell you is hiring people is definitely hard, but retaining them is harder. If you run a multi-unit business today, restaurants, retail, franchising, hospitality, you already know exactly what I mean. Because there's one problem that never really goes away: training. And right behind training is retention. Because those two are tied together whether we talk about it or not. Because when you hire someone, it almost feels like you've crossed that finish line. They've accepted the offer, they show up, they're on the schedule. But the truth is, the real work starts day one. Because if your people don't know exactly what they're doing and what they're going to do, they're going to do what they think is right. And that's not a character flaw, that's human nature. The same thing happens with your managers. If your managers aren't crystal clear on what needs to be trained and reinforced, they teach what they personally believe matters most. Sometimes that works, sometimes that aligns exactly with you. But over time, across multiple locations, multiple shifts, that is how standards drift. And in that drift is where the frustration starts for you. Because people normally don't quit just because they can't do the job. They quit because they feel lost. They quit confusion. They quit inconsistency. They quit walking into a shift not knowing what success actually looks like. And I'll tell you something, even at Oracle, I worked at Oracle, they struggled with this when I worked there. And that was with senior people who have been in the business 20, 30 years. And think about this, if it's hard on that level, imagine how hard it gets when you're hiring constantly, training constantly, and trying to keep a culture consistent across multiple locations. That's why training is not just an HR function, it's an operational function. It's how you protect your brand when you're not in the building. So here's the real question. How do you know when your people are trained? Not assumed, not talked about, not hoped. How do you actually know? Whether it's a vehicle you use, paper, digital, in-person, blended, it has to be checked. It has to be followed. And your leaders have to run it cold. Area leaders, general managers, store leaders. It has to be the same process, same standards every time. And then you measure it. What was completed? What got skipped? What's slipping? Where's support needed? Because if you don't measure your training, you don't manage it. If you don't manage it, your best employees carry the load and your managers burn out. And retention becomes a guessing game. The good news is this: the problem is fixable. Not by replacing people, not by removing people and processes, but by removing the guesswork, creating clarity, holding the training process accountable every single day. So here's the question I'll leave with you. Do you actually know how well your people are being trained today? Or are you just hoping it's happening? Because hope isn't a strategy. Clarity is. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll share more on this topic soon. Thanks.